Wow, what a weekend! The GOP dominates the Texas special election that many pundits thought would go blue, all as Mitt Romney was mercilessly booed at a Utah GOP convention. In this video, we're going to take a look at what happened in Texas where the Democrat Party utterly crashed and burned. We're going to take a look at Utah. We're going to see video footage of Mitt Romney getting booed and heckled by the patriot base of the Republican Party. And we're going to look at how the two wings of the GOP are faring. And I'll give you a hint. The patriot wing is rising and the establishment rhino wing is imploding. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. We're your antidote to fake news. As each and every day we analyze current events in light of larger conservative trends in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we dive in here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video. And that's our good friends over at Noble Gold. Gang, if you're sick of the low returns and volatility from the market, it is time to look at gold and silver. And that is where our good friends over at Noble Gold come in. There's frankly never been a better time to start a gold or silver IRA in your portfolio, and the amazing staff over at Noble Gold are ready to help you in any way that they can. If that's not incentive enough, Noble Gold is gifting a 1/10 ounce solid gold American Eagle proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover going through. So do not wait. Click on that link below or visit their website at noblegoldinvestments.com or give them a call at 877-646-5347. Make sure to mention my name, Dr. Steve Turley, and let's ride that gold wave together. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. We really had a tale of two Republican cities over the weekend, the best of times and the worst of times for the two wings, the factions of the Republican Party. Over the weekend, it was clear that the MAGA-dominated side of the GOP is stronger than ever, while the neocon establishment wing of the party is literally collapsing right before our very eyes. Let's take a look at the special election that was held in Texas over the weekend. Not only did the Republicans shut out the Democrats in this first round of voting, they've got two rounds. Not only the top two candidates who are going to face off in the runoff in the next several weeks, both Republicans, but the candidate endorsed by Donald Trump, Susan Wright, ran away with it, okay? The lone Democrat candidate was completely shut out. Now, keep in mind, this was a special election for the 6th district in Texas, which pundits have predicted would be turning blue very, very soon. It's a Dallas area seat that Trump carried by only a few percentage points. But as it turns out, the Democrat candidate barely broke 36% of the vote. Over 60% of the vote went against the Democrats. So it's no wonder that the Democrats are panicking as of today. This contest is clearly seen by all pundits as a bellwether for 2022. And the Democrats could barely break 36% of the vote in a district where pundits thought they had a real shot at winning. 2022 is going to be a massacre. But more than that, we have to understand that this special election in Texas was beyond devastating for the Democrats in terms of their whole dream of turning Texas blue. This special election in the Dallas area was an absolute Democrat nightmare, both for their prospects in 2022 and their hopes for turning Texas blue. Unfortunately for the Democrats, this special election was just the latest indicator that Texas has no plans of turning blue or even purple anytime soon. The fact of the matter is that Texas has become more red in 2020 than it did in 2016. A number of pundits were predicting in 2020 that Texas was going to at least turn purple. They thought the national trends were all favoring the Democrats and that with the pandemic, those trends could flip all of these local seats at all different levels in Texas and perhaps maybe even given the state to Joe Biden. As the dust cleared after November 3rd, pundits found that they could not have been more wrong. In fact, Trump ended up flipping Zapata County, which had voted for Hillary Clinton back in 2016, by over 30 points. So this special election in Texas is a further indicator that Texas has no plans of even going purple anytime soon, let alone blue. So, with his endorsed candidate winning, it's good to see that the Trump train is moving full steam ahead as we push towards 2022. However, we're seeing the complete opposite for the rhino Republican establishment whose revered leader got utterly mocked and ridiculed over the weekend. I'm speaking, of course, of the one and only Mitt Romney, the king of the rhino neocon establishment. Romney finally had to face his own constituents in Utah over the weekend at a Republican convention, and boy, did he hear it from the crowd. Take a look.
So what do you think of President Biden's first 100 days, huh? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So what do you think about President Biden's first 100 days? Now, you know me as a person who says what he thinks, and I don't hide the fact that I wasn't a fan of our last president's character issues. And I'm also no fan... Aren't you embarrassed? And I'm also no fan of the president's... Yeah, sure.
My friends, this is the moment I was talking about. Please, thank you, show respect.
Ouch! I mean, that was painful to watch. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. It's about as cringeworthy as it gets. Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you? Did you hear him say that? Aren't you? He actually asked the audience if they were embarrassed, which is the quintessential textbook example of projection, right? He's projecting onto them the very embarrassment that he was feeling at that moment. It's typical rhino establishment behavior. Now, of course, Romney's having to face a problem of his own making with his turning his back on the MAGA base of the Republican Party and cozying up to Nancy Pelosi and CNN in his votes to convict President Trump. Do you remember before Fox fired him? Do you remember when Lou Dobbs, who's a huge supporter of Trump, when the whole impeachment fiasco was going on, the second one, the single most ridiculous one that didn't even give Trump the opportunity to defend himself when it was put up for a vote in the House and ended up putting on a private citizen on trial, you know that one? Dobbs responded to that utter nonsense by tweeting out, outrageous, Senators McConnell, Romney, and Marshall should be impeached for violation of the Constitution by joining in an unlawful act against a private citizen. House Democrats present Trump impeachment charge to the Senate, allowing trial to begin. And leaving aside the nitpicking of whether a senator can be impeached, obviously Lou Dobbs spoke on behalf of the GOP grassroots, the deplorable base of the Republican Party, at the very least 85% of patriot Republican voters who'd rather see McConnell and Romney impeached over their blatant defection from Republican values and concerns, and their full and open embracing of the values and concerns of the swamp, the establishment, the permanent political class. And that is precisely what we saw in Utah over the weekend. And it's precisely what Romney saw over the weekend. He saw the deplorables rise up against him and, in fact, call him out as no different from the Democratic Party that he was cozying up to over his last couple of years. Now, what we're seeing play out here over the weekend is a battle for dominance between the two wings of the Republican Party. We've talked about this on a number of other videos, but it is an important distinction to make between what we would call the populist right party and a populist light party, right? A populist right party versus a populist light party. It's an important distinction to make to understand what happened over this weekend. A populist right party is a MAGA party from top to bottom, from bottom to top. All rhinos, all neocons have either left the party or they've adjusted themselves to the new political reality like Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio are trying to do, right? It's a full-blown patriot party. On the other hand, a populist light party is a party that has a MAGA base, a nationalist populist grassroots, but a neocon establishment leadership. And so while the Rhino neocon establishment leadership is certainly very happy to reap the electoral rewards of the growing populist movement, they still have an establishment mentality which easily digresses back to their Rhino globalist norms, which so often involve alienating their deplorables base and throwing them under the bus. And this is because a populist right party and a populist left party operate by two fundamentally different politics. The populist right party operates by a politics of the people, where the values, concerns, and interests of the MAGA base are represented faithfully by their elected officials, like Trump did so well for 4 years. However, a populist light party is governed not by the politics of the people, but rather by the politics of the establishment, the permanent political class, where GOP elected officials promote and protect the values, concerns, and interests of the political class, as amplified by the shameless cheerleading of the mainstream Marxist media. This is the party of Mitt Romney, right? He sees the Republican Party as nothing more than a special interest group for the establishment swamp, right? He's dedicated to doing the bidding of CNN and the New York Times and Goldman Sachs and the CCP. He cares nothing, literally nothing about the working class men and women of our nation who want nothing to do with either one of the impeachment circuses that he voted for. They want nothing to do with the politics of the permanent political class. And they sure as heck want nothing to do with establishment politicians like Mitt Romney. So we had a great weekend. The MAGA Trump train continues to go full steam ahead. All the while, the establishment neocons are faltering and dithering like never before. If the Democrats thought things were bad for them in 2022, let's just say that things look just as bad for their allies in the Rhino establishment Republican Party. Patriots are rising up all over, and there is nothing the establishment can do about it. Now, speaking of rising up patriots, before you go, you're going to definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded. It's my interview with Andy Walker. Andy's a former construction worker who's currently running for borough council in New Holland, Pennsylvania. Andy is precisely the kind of grassroots citizen patriot that's going to absolutely inspire you as you learn about him standing up and kicking out the Rhino Republican establishment in his area. You're going to love the interview, and it's going to absolutely make your day even brighter. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.